For those who are taken, what do you miss being single? And for those who are single, what do you miss being taken when you were taken or in a relationship? So if you're either or, you just have to name the other.
I miss having to go out without telling somebody, like, oh, I'm gonna go here, okay? So if I don't answer, then
Freedom.
da 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 da. Yeah, basically. Still, like, but if it was
Yeah,
a
you gotta go
party,
play
then yeah,
cup
I'm gonna
pong.
tell him. But if I'm just going to Target, I'm not gonna tell him, oh, I'm going to Target. And if I don't text, that's the reason why.
Should probably start
I don't
checking your
care.
car to
I'm
see
going
if
to
you have the air
Target.
tags. Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't even have a car.
Everybody needs to get air tags out there.
Yeah,
Make sure
everybody's
you like,
yeah,
make sure you
like air
post that.
tagging your girls.
Hell no. I saw this guy on TikTok. He has like short-term memory loss, so he put an air tag on his car so that because he lives in an apartment, so he can't find his car in the garage. So he put the air tag so he could find it, and he like put it in his like his gas pump thing, and he opened it, and then he put a little note behind it saying, "Oh, if you see this, it's not somebody like trying to kidnap you or whatever." And then he like he put at the bottom of the note saying, "You probably read this is not
Oh
your
my
first time reading this,
gosh.
but you probably think it is." And then he was like, "This is still sus." He folded it up, he put it back, he talked about something else, and he opened it up again. It was like, "I think someone's kidnapping me."
That shit reminds me of the time when my boy went to go. He had to go like to his long-term nursing home to go visit his grandparents because his mom sends him to go always like fucking bring her food and stuff like that. And his grandmother always suffer from Alzheimer, which is like basically same shit as memory loss and stuff like that. And so he's the grandson, obviously. And so he's like, "Oh, we just gotta make a quick stop, really quick. I'm sorry, man." It's like, "No, it's cool, man. Let's go." So we went there, and he brought the food that his mom made for his grandma, and he brought it. He brought it over there. I don't know why. Just one day he decided to do this. I'm walking in there with them, and then she's like laying down on the bed and she's like sleeping, and he's like, "Oh, she's knocked out," and he starts to put the food onto the table. It's like setting up her dinner and stuff like that, and then she wakes up, and then this one time she wakes up and she goes, she looks at him, she goes, "Oh my god, who are you?" And then he's like, "I'm I don't know, who are you?" And then she's like, "Ah!" And then she started hitting the nurse button. "Nurse, help me, help me!" And then he's like, "No, it's me, grandma, it's me." It's like, I'm your grandson. It's like, wait. He's like, "I don't have a grandson. My daughter's still in high school." It's like, "No, mom is nowhere close to in high school." Okay. And then I was like, just looking at him, I was like, "Wait, is this the right lady? Or are you just saying that?" And like, wait. And she like freaked the fuck out, like, cause, and he was telling me too right before like the car ride that she has Alzheimer, and this is the one time I decided to fuck with his grandmother that he pretend like he didn't know who she was either. Yo, is that the look on her face? If she was scared shitless, and then I was scared shitless. I thought we were gonna get the cops called on or something. Like these two gentlemen went to this old lady's room or some shit, and I was like fucking. And like when the nurse came, the nurse was like, "What did you do?" He's like, "I was just trying to play a prank on her, but pretending I didn't know who she was." And, oh shit! I'm
You
sorry.
have the most fucked up stories.
Well, I would never.
First of all, I want to know what your
I
face
didn't
was
do
in
it.
like when that happened.
Oh, it looked like this.
Like, I personally would just walked out the room and be like, okay, I gotta go. I would have left
Gotta
my friend
go.
in there. I'm sorry. Wait out because you never know. Stuff might go
It's okay.
flying.
Yeah, I thought she was. Oh, she
She
looked
might have
like she
grabbed
was
that
panicking like
bedpan,
crazy
start
too.
throwing
Oh my
some
god, I
shit.
saw. Yeah.
Uh,
So I can understand why that guy put an air tag in his car. All right, Q, what do you
single.
miss being taken?
So I'm single.
What?
No. What do
Miss
I
being
miss being
single?
taken? Wait, I'm single. What do I miss being taken? That's right. What do I
Yeah.
miss? Nothing. Honestly, I don't like not yet. I would just say and here's why. Because Like my mentality is this, like whatever status you're in when it comes to a relationship or whether or not you're single, I mean, just enjoy every freaking moment of it, whether you're single or taken. Like, make it the best, whatever it is, make it the best relationship, make it the best, like, singleness. And because I feel like if I'm missing something, and maybe it's like just like my whole like mindset on it, but I feel like if I'm missing something, then I should be searching for that, right? Like, I should be like going after it. So I don't like to feel like I'm missing out on anything. And I think that's just like this whole thing with me. But yeah, so I honestly, like, I don't miss anything right now. Like, I love being single at the moment.
So you're not missing. You said it 3 times.
That could change. It could change right now. But no, not now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes with
You
me
don't miss
too,
anything?
but
Wait, first of all, wait, how long ago were you in a relationship? A year, you said?
oh, how
Oh,
long? No,
you're
that's how
with
long I
her for a
was
year.
with
Okay.
her. I was with her for a year, a little over a year. I've been single uh, a little over a year. It has to be 2 years. I think it's 2 years now that I've been single. So yeah, I think I'm hitting the 2 year mark of me being single. I could tell because my Facebook memory keeps showing me pictures of us. So I would definitely say that I'm hitting the 2 year mark of being single. So would I miss being taken? I don't know. I kind of like I guess I miss like this is tough because yeah, I really don't miss anything either. But I really miss I would have to say I miss the support. It definitely has to be the support. Like I'm never really the type to rely on the reassurance or get reassurance from other people. Like I've always been like a go-getter. I've always done everything myself. I've always um always gave myself encouragement and stuff like that, and always tackle things on by myself, especially like things I don't know and do not know. But what I do miss is just like, oh, what is nice is just always having that partner when I come home, and like we talk about our day, and I talk about the struggles that I have to deal with, whether it's something minor or even if it's major, like if it's work related or if it's like podcast related, if it's like just anything that I'm dealing with and stuff like that. Even though I've always picked myself up, just venting to a girl and just like my girlfriend and just telling her about like, oh, it's like this was annoying. I had to face this and this and this. Even though I got my shit together, and then her like kind of supporting me. It's like, oh, don't worry. Over time, like it'll get better over time. Like, oh, just don't look at the view count on here. It'll grow on its own, or um like that type of support from her, or like she'll always say things that like, oh, you'll always figure it out. Things like that. I feel like because I learned a lot of things um from my previous ex. She taught me like a lot of stuff, and that's kind of the things that I miss too, is that I miss like kind of like doing things for my girlfriend, which is weird. Like I don't know. I guess I think it's because my love language, the highest, is effort, right? So I miss like having to wake up and bringing her to work. I miss that. I miss like going out to get Dunkin' Donuts for her before she goes to work. Um, and then or sometimes I would make food for her before she goes to work. I miss like doing laundry for her sometimes, and what I miss the most is she always like bump into things that like she doesn't know how to do it, and I miss teaching her things like how to handle banks, how does interest work, how the credit works. I remember, and my sister remember this. I taught her how to drive, and I miss that experience of like just like the fun moments of like just like when I was teaching her how to drive and her showing off that like she learned how to parallel park with and stuff like that. And I miss moments like that with her, that like I supported her with things that she doesn't know how to deal with it or doesn't know how to tackle it. But like one of the sweetest things she ever said was that she felt like when she was with me, that she could take on the world, right? That even if I don't know how or we don't know how, I will always figure out how to do it. And it's words like that. That's her being supportive about me, and then it was me kind of like an achievement and like reaching a milestone, being around her, that we're helping each other kind of grow. And that's the one thing I miss when it comes to being in a relationship, I guess. Because now I feel like I've been bulldozing over everything and just like plowing through everything because of the fact that like I know so much and I could take on so many things with and without the reassurance from others. But I miss having that person, especially when it comes to like food too. Food is like sometimes I just want to go out, but I just want someone there with me to eat or something like that.
It sounds like you just miss her.
No,
I was
I'm naming
thinking
all
the
the stuff
same
that I
thing.
missed because of the fact that like I want to.
I was like,
Yeah,
damn.
no, because she was not the only girl that relationship was like that. My last three relationships were kind of no, my last two no, the last one and the one before her was like that. I guess that answers the question. I was trying to answer the question. That's why. Yeah, even if it's not you, you're leveling up your partner. Yeah, yeah. That was the feeling I was trying to describe. That was a good way to put it. Because I don't like. Of course, I miss my ex of all the good parts about it too, but I don't really miss her per se. Or and the other one, I sure as hell don't miss the other one. But yeah, I sure as hell don't miss her. Yeah, but the last one and stuff like that, I think those are the things that I miss. That's about it. But I don't miss her. Damn it, because now it's gonna sound like I miss her because I wrote an answer for this one and this one was about her. What's charming slash memorable gesture was done to you on a date that won you over when you went out with some guy? So for me, it would be some girl.
Probably like last year, he like he held the door. Like he used to hold the door for me or like open the door for me. So like basically like chivalry or whatever.
Uh huh.
Is that what it's
Yeah, you
called?
had it right. Yeah, chivalry.
Yeah. He used to do all that chivalry shit for me. And I was just like
Stupid.
and then and then he stopped doing it, so I'm like, I don't even
I
want
was
you no
just
more.
fucking like, hurry the fuck up when he's at the door.
Open the door for me. Walk on the other side of the sidewalk.
Yeah. I like the chivalry thing for sure.
Alright. So what was done to you that won
Okay,
you
there's a
over
few things, but
on
I'm
a
going to say
date?
this one because it's kind of unique. Because I grew up working on cars and everything, and then, love all the car shows and, the whole like the need for speed mentality. But we, like, he fixed my car, like, just like, did everything I wanted to my car that I wanted. And I didn't have to pay for it either. So, how whatever I wanted, whether it's from the rims to whatever, pay for everything, the system, all that. And because I could do it myself, like a lot of it, not all of it, but yeah, that was dope. I'm not gonna lie. So that won me over. That's one. I mean, there's a few. It kind of depends on the person. Like they do different things, right? So it all depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shut
He
up.
can do that for you.
I've done that for a lot of girls, but I don't think that
Really?
ever
Then
won
they
them
must not
over.
be into
But
cars because they must not understand the
He
car
fixed my
life.
tire for me.
yeah, I worked on a few girls' cars, but I don't think they ever found interest in me after I worked on their car. That's what I'm saying.
What? You're kidding me? That's great. I mean,
Yeah. No, I'm just saying I didn't know that.
they
So
might
like
have.
maybe
They
they
just
did.
might not
I'm
have
not
told you.
sure. I worked on a few. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. So me, see now this is gonna sound like I fucking miss my ex because my ex did this gesture on a date. So on a date. this gesture won me over. And so we were at Wendy's, right? And we went out. We went to go get Wendy's because of the fact that we were both hungry, and it was the middle of the night, and I drove all the way down to freaking Dorchester, which is like a half hour away from me, right? I drove all the way down there to Dorchester because of the fact that like I was hungry and she was hungry and I didn't really know what else to do. Food is better with people, so I went down there. We both didn't know what to get because of the fact that it was like 11 something at night, and then and we were in the talking phase at the time, so we pulled up to Wendy's. That's what we decided to do, and then I ordered my food, which was something small, and then she ordered her food, and then she got like a junior bacon cheeseburger, and then she wanted some fries, right? So just a burger and some fries. So
Okay, first
I
of
was
all,
a
I
little
just
bit
have to say this.
confused.
So
I was
you
like,
actually
it's weird.
remember
I
her
thought
whole freaking order. Like, how long ago was this?
because you gotta get to the gesture, right? So this is the gesture that made me like basically won me over. So I was like, that's weird because every girl loves chicken, right? Almost every girl love chicken. So I said, yeah.
Not
So I was
me.
like, oh, okay. So so I said to her, it's like, oh, that's weird. Like you don't want any sides? Like you just want just a junior bacon and fries? Like you're not gonna order any sides? So with a plain face, she looks at me and she just went, if I can't have sides, then so can't you. And then so if I order sides, then that means you can have a side chick. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, side chick? Where'd you got side chick? She's like, chicken nuggets, side chicks. So I can't have sides. So that means you can't have any sides either. And I was like, oh shit, okay, all right. So it was just like the joke that she came up with, and then so we pull up and then we paid for it. It was just like the fact that she can come up with like witty jokes like that, and the sense of humor won me over like that. That was the gesture of what was said to me on a date that won me over. Was that stupid side chick joke that she made? And yeah, we ended up dating, and yeah, I didn't have any side chicks. So that I guess that side chick thing for her worked out. So she's smart. She's smart. What was a lie that you girls told that you like, but you actually fucking didn't like it?
What do you mean?
Say for an example, let's say, all right, let's say for an example, it could be anything really. So like, let's say for an example, a guy who always opens the door for you, right? You
Oh,
hate it because it makes you feel like inferior, but then every time he does it, you're like, oh, that's so nice of you, and you lied that you always liked it, so he always does it, but deep down, you don't fucking like it. You fucking hate it when people open the door for you before to open it yourself. That's an example, like an example, you know. I can make it more extreme if you want. Be like, you really hate doing like, riding the guy on top, doing cowgirl stuff, but like because it makes you tired, and then like, but you know that like you like to, like you just tell him you like it because it turns him on more, but deep down you're getting tired and you really hate it. So that's the extreme version. So what was a lie that you told?
there's this one guy's dick game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna tell you which relationship, but his dick game. I didn't like the sex, but like I liked his like company and personality. So like I didn't want to hurt his feelings either. So I just told him that his dick game was good, and like his dick was like it like was okay with me, but really it was just and he did not know how to use it.
I see all three of you smirking about the dick game, like all three of you have fucking told the same lie. That's why you're all laughing. Someone's gonna clip this shit. Look at this. The question's not
Yeah,
about size,
it doesn't matter, but like
but
you gotta know how to use it.
okay, hold on. I'm gonna interrupt there. Hold on that part because here's the funny thing. Because obviously I have a lot of boys and friends that are females too. A lot of guys that have above average dick do not know how to fuck. That's the one thing I've learned. That's the one thing I've learned. So guys, just because they're big, they always think that is enough just to win the girl over. So when you were talking about the dick game, you were actually correct. Like what you were saying, and I agree with you 100% because I've learned that. But most guys who has big dick, they always think just because it's the size that that's all they need to do is just lay there and look pretty. That's it. But it's not true. But they don't know that. That's the stupid thing. A lot of guys that has above average size dick, they don't know that. They just think that all they have to do is just thrust and shit like that and go on top. Okay, Q, what was a lie that you told that you liked, but deep
Well, I have to
down you
agree with
actually don't
Anna
like
for
it?
one. That's one. I agree with that. That's like a common one. I feel like any girl who says that that's never happened is probably lying. But um so, it's whatever. But another one has been like when they give you like a gift and it's really like you really don't like it, but it's a gesture, like it's the thought that counts. I still didn't like the gift. I'm not going to say what the gift was, but I lied and I was very nice, and then I never saw him again. So I broke up.
Are you the type of person to like you
Yes.
get gifted something and you don't like it, so
Yes,
then you
Anna,
give it to
don't ask
someone
me
else?
these
Like you gift
things.
it to someone.
You're gonna like, Anna's gonna like
Yeah,
call this stuff out. And
it's called Yankee
it's
Swap.
because one, I don't want it to go to waste and somebody's paid money on it. I just don't like it. And I mean, sometimes I get like a lot of different gifts and it's obvious they don't know me. So if you're gonna get me some shit that I don't like I'm gonna be nice, but you just may not see me wear it or carry it or whatever. That's it. So, yes, I'll give it to somebody else who will use it because I don't want it to go to waste. I know that's bad, but yeah, it's usually gifts.
Okay, so let's get to the serious question. Like this one, this is a serious one, and then we have to do your best to answer this. We could turn serious if you want. Do your best to answer this as thorough and into detail as much as possible, right? Especially if you had or haven't had experience with it. So the question is, how can you get out of a mentally unstable, possessive, and toxic relationship? How can you get out of it? So you can even go into detail about, like, say, this is an example. Let's say, like, the girl was manipulative as fuck. Well, no, I'm saying for me, for you, it would be a guy, obviously, or like for me, like the person. Let me just say that the person was gaslighting as fuck, or possessive, as in like they fucking air tagging your fucking gas tank, and then like, things like that, like possessive, like they're always checking up on you, fucking have you on Life 360. Like, it's like, how do you get out of that? Like, what's your best advice to give to this person who's actually asking? Because the relationship is extremely unhealthy. The guy, if you really want to know, is extremely possessive, and it's just unhealthy, and she feels trapped. I don't know much about him, so I don't know. That was the only details I got.
I'm gonna skip this question because when it comes to like red flags for me, I'm blind as fuck.
Oh, that's kind of funny because I think my ex was probably blind then. Because they say love is blind. And that girl caught me cheating, so she saw it. So apparently, love isn't blind, or maybe she
She
wasn't in
caught
love with
you,
me.
like saw you. I was like,
It's a
what?
fucking joke, Q. Get it?
Sorry.
Love is blind. She fucking saw me cheating. It's like
Uh,
I never cheated on my girl before. I have a clean record of never cheating. I never cheated on my girls. I do have a clean record. Why are you looking at me like
Boy,
that?
no, you lie. You
I'm
never
not
got
lying.
fresh.
we don't
Name
know. Will
name
you
one of
keep
my
that
ex
on
I
the
cheated
low?
on. Go
Like
ahead,
if you
name one
did?
out
Oh
of
no,
the
I forgot. They
fucking,
don't cheat
yeah,
on me.
exactly. Yeah, they cheated on me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And love is supposed to be blind. They weren't supposed to see that shit going down. They were the intimacy. No? Uh-huh. All right, Q, what you got for this?
Okay,
What you
I'm going
got
to
for
answer this from
this?
experience. So, because I've been into, let's say toxicity can lead to like all forms of abuse. And so for whoever answered or asked this question, you got to be careful because it could totally lead to, there are several different types of abuse, right? There's verbal, mental, emotional. spiritual, sexual, physical abuse, right? And I actually personally have been in two extremely abusive relationships before. And to pretty much like basically all of the abuses I just named, that happened to me physically. So, and then I would just say this: one, you've got to know like kind of like what your boundaries are. You should really like understand and start to look at if there's something to you that in your gut or your intuition or whatever, you're feeling like something's not right, then just make sure you like heed that warning, because that's like something in your body, in your psyche, in your mind or whatever is telling you that something is like extremely wrong here. And then two, like all toxic relationships to me, they have like traits. And so some of the traits are definitely like constant checking in, possessiveness type mentality, possessive to the sense that it's not cute anymore. You know, at first, like we fall into that, oh my gosh, he really wants to know where I'm at, or he's like really concerned about me. Hell no, he probably don't. He's either one, doing his own shit, or two, he just is insecure in himself. So therefore, the insecurity is what leads to the toxicity. So you're probably dealing with somebody who's super insecure. And then I would say three, like you should start to like tell your friends, like whoever you consider really close, that's not like a mutual friend with you and whoever your partner is, start to talk this through, because your friends can help you process, especially if you're not ready to go to counseling. Because four, I'd say get some therapy and counseling, to talk to a counselor or something, because you could end up, okay, and I'll just say this will be like going on my own podcast, is part of my story, but I literally like ended up almost like dying out in my last, like my one abusive relationship, one of, and I ended up in jail basically. That's the only way that I ended up staying alive, was because somebody called the cops. And so like I had like this whole like domestic violence charge and all this other crap. And I'll say this for the record, like he was somebody pretty famous. And so therefore I got treated like I was trash. And then he got treated like he was like some kind of a king. So, so just know that, like, I'd say like, especially for the females, like we go into shit like, oh my gosh, like he looks good. That's your first thing, right? He looks good. So you're attracted. Obviously you gotta be attracted, but he treats me nice. We had a great day. Our talking has been dope. We have like a good conversation. He opens the doors or whatever else, but you're going to start to see the flags really quick. And the problem is that we ignore them. So I'd say don't ignore like what your gut is telling you, or let's just say like you have a male best friend or a female, if it's opposite, a female best friend, and she's telling you some shit like, I don't know about so-and-so or he, like they're doing something, like they're seeing things that you don't see. And if you trust those best friends that are opposite gender for you, they're going to see things that you won't see, because you're blinded by love, which, case of the earlier, like literally you will be blinded by love. So, yeah, so I'd just say those are like a few things. I could totally go on and on about this, but yeah, then these are just trash relationships. So yeah, my last one though, I say, this is why I'm like single now, total narcissist. And so, yeah, the whole narcissistic mentality that's another thing, but yeah. So I would just say, look out for the toxicity flags and talk this through with people that you trust. Like just start to tell people what you're really, really thinking and feeling. So yeah, total serious question. Sorry, ain't no comedy to this one, but yeah. Pay attention to the
It'd be
3 month
that
rule and
3 month
everything
rule.
happening in the 3 months.
What if like it like everything was the same for like about 5 months,
That's
and
true.
then
Or
it
let's
just
just say in
started
those 3 months, you know how like at first they're talking to you, like
happening?
everything's great, they're all sweet. And then after a while, like all that, like let's say after a month, they're no longer like, they're not doing everything for you. You know how it is. Like, you go into dating and everything's great and you're doing everything for each other because, oh my gosh, I love this person, or I think I could spend the rest of my life with them, or you think they're just super dope. But it dies, like it dies out for real, for real. Like it dies out. People got to pay attention to that. When it dies out, you got to ask the question for yourself, like, can I deal with this for the long haul, or however long that is? Like, am I okay with this person that they are 3 months later versus the one I met and the person he was in the first 3 days, or she? So like there's warning signs. I agree with you. Like there's like they don't know their own boundaries, but you have like these gut feelings. You know when something ain't right. Like you just do. Like seriously. Like if the sex ain't good, you know when the sex ain't good. Okay, let's just keep it real. That's a physical example use. If it's just not good, it ain't good. Okay. But you know when something ain't right. And if it's not right, don't ignore that. Like you gotta just like think, why am I not feeling him like I was, or things just ain't they're not popping like they used to be type of thing. Yeah, okay, your turn.
So I guess I'll answer the question now. They say every form of communication is manipulation. That's a very famous phrase. So now the reason why I brought that up is that inside of almost every single toxic relationship, there's a king or a queen who's very good at manipulating. Every time we talk to people, we're always manipulating because we want the other person to feel the same way or get the same idea or have the same response to get things our way so at least that they can understand it. Some people are better at it than others. That just the manner and the way they talk, their tone, everything, that they want things always done their way. In a possessive relationship or a narcissist, those people who are really good at saying things in order to get to their way will use it to gaslight you. And that's one of the craziest or blindest thing that a lot of people don't know because they have been so used to learning all the correct phrases, correct things, how to say to people in order to manipulate them into getting their way all the time. And it has to be one of the most difficult things to actually walk away from. So much so that I want to say that like everything that we're gonna say to any listeners out there, everything that we're gonna say, I understand 100% that everything that we're saying is easier said than done. 100% easier said than done. All I'm just saying to you is just words. But even if so, I hope you listen to these words carefully coming from a person who's extremely good at manipulating people. I am very fucking good at manipulating people. Very fucking good. Um, to almost everything. I can make a person do almost anything I want to make them think any way I want because I'm really good at communicating words. Why I always land and pass all my interviews and stuff like that, and things like that. But those are not bragging. Those are me just saying that it's when you're around a person who's like very manipulative and toxic like that, they would use things against you in order to get their ways, such as pushing their personality to be extreme. Like if you leave me, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Like they use things like that. And they would use any anchor they could possibly have on you, anything at all, just to keep you trapped. You know what's crazy is that you like those people, they can trap a person in a house and not even lock the door. Like the doors are unlocked, but the person wouldn't even get out of the house. Like that's like you can get to that type of level of manipulation. It's insane. You know what I mean? That there are people who are like that. Now, here's the thing: the people who's in these, I wanted to say, kind of like abusive relationship, because that is an abuse. You just don't see it. That's a form of mental abuse that you're going through. When you're in a relationship that who's like extremely possessive and mentally unstable, and they feed off of that. They feed off of the power that you give to them. They will drain you. They will always love being on top and stuff like that, and it's intoxicating. It really is. And I'm only speaking from experience because of the fact that like I too am like a person who's held really high, like an alpha male, I guess you can kind of say, or a king, or just someone like that who's like in the circle. I'm usually the one on top. The same with my relationship. I'm usually always the one taking charge and taking lead. However, I look at things different than other people, but I can understand how other people. Yes, you can have that, Kay. I can understand how other people usually like get like really feeding like off of that 100%. Like they would like, I guess you can kind of say go on a power trip, and they would like feed off of that, and always like how do I say it? Well, now that you understand that part, I'm gonna leave it at that. Now that you understand that part, here's the part that the people in these abusive relationships don't understand is that the person who's enabling it and the person who's like giving him all the energy is actually from you. You're the person who's feeding it to them. So you need to understand that like it is not your responsibility to make sure that you're feeding this guy. And I'm not talking about just food, just because I'm using the word feed. I'm talking about you're feeding his ego. You're feeding his like you're enabling him to always be on top and be the power trip. The worstest thing that like those people like hate the most is when they're up against an opposing force. They hate going up against anything who's an opposing force. So if you're not opposing him, then you're doing nothing more than feeding him. If that makes sense. It's not your responsibility to take care of him, whether he lives or die. You've only basically taken that responsibility on for yourself because it's called a forced love. For those who don't understand, a forced love is basically kind of like um, loving something that you weren't given, but over time you've kind of like forced yourself to love it, like adopting a cat that you're allergic to, for an example, like me. Like I don't, if it was up to me, I wouldn't want the cat, but however over time you built love and you got used to that cat. Like I love my cat a lot. It's the same example I gave actually with this one right here. Like if it was up to me, I wouldn't want to have kids. I never wanted to have kids, but I have to sacrifice my time, my energy, and I had to put up with them, deal with their bullshit, deal with their like freaking like giving them energy and stuff like that. It's parenting is so much that people don't understand. It's not as simple as all the happy little shit that you see on fucking social media and all that stuff. No, there's a lot more to it, like going up against them, fighting against them, and stuff like that. If it was up to me, I wouldn't want to have kids. Again, I said it twice. Why? Because now I love my kids to death, right? I love my nieces and nephew to death. But notice that that it was a forced love. I forced myself to love them. When that happens, it's the same shit as your partner, and that you're not seeing. You're just forcing yourself to love them. However, you have an easier time to walk away. You don't have to be the person to take care of them. You don't have to be the person to feed them. There, if you walk away, a person will always figure out and find a way on their own. If a boat was sinking, and I asked this person who sent me this question, if a boat was sinking and I asked you, you can only either save your parents and siblings on one side or your lover on the other side, which one would you save? If they would have answered any one of those two, they would have been wrong. The reason why they would have been wrong is the correct answer. If a boat was sinking, you're supposed to move away from the boat, go to like the nearest thing, like an island, build another boat, go back and save the people who can save themselves. Because the reason why both answers was wrong was because if you try to save any one of them, whether it's your family on one side or your lover on the other side, guess what happened? The boat's sinking. It's going to drag you down with you. You're going to get sucked in by the current with you. And that's why that answer was wrong. You need to save yourself first. Go back and save the ones who can save themselves. It is not your responsibility to take care of a toxic person and handle this man child or woman child if it's a girl that you're in. You're just taking on that responsibility yourself. Yeah, you can feel bad. I understand 100%. I feel bad all the time for my exes that are like, I walk away from them when I was so used to being the one who always helped them get their shit together. But it's not my responsibility. It's not my life as their partner to take care of them and baby them the whole fucking way. It's not. People have to learn how to save themselves. Do I feel bad that when they bump into things that I wish I can kind of cushion them and save them and all that stuff? Yeah, of course you can feel bad. However, it's you can't do that your whole life because you're gonna be in that fucking boat again, getting sucked down, your time, your energy, because you were the one enabling it. Sometimes you need to look at yourself that he's not or she. It's not the only problem. You are the problem yourself too because you're feeding it to them. You're feeding it to them. And I know it's easier said than done to walk away from this relationship. Oh, believe me, I understand 100%, especially when the person is possessive and they're going to keep coming to you. And the one thing that I've learned, and which is really, really hard, is staying silent. And it took me so long, years and years and years, of how to stay silent with people. Like, silence is a really powerful thing. And which is the same as ignoring them when they come back to you and beg for you to fix this, help that, or what's wrong, and feed on more things. And sometimes they will tell me they will change, or they know that they're wrong and stuff like that. It's so hard for me to remain silent. And trust me, it is hard to remain silent with people. Sometimes, like for an example, when someone's talking shit, sometimes you just want to back up some of the facts that isn't true. You really do. But I always remain silent. I let people believe whatever they wish to believe, and I never correct whatever people hear about me. It's the same concept as trying to stay silent when a toxic person comes back and try to like feed off of you again, just so they can keep you in this little fucking grasp in their hand. Because owning you and having property over you, it's something that they feed off of. Having things their way is something that they always feed off of. But the strongest people I've ever met in their life is the people who learned a way to move away from that fucking boat and go back and save people who saved themselves just because they didn't know how to swim. So, as tough as it may sound, you need to understand that you are also the problem. You need to learn how to walk away from when something is fucking toxic and let people deal with that shit themselves. Because you're gonna spend so much time and energy into this relationship, and you're gonna feel like it's a false value or sunken cost. Google the word sunken cost. That you invested all this time, all this energy. I shouldn't back out. This person, I love them. I know there's good in them and stuff like that. And I know there's good in them. I swear to God, I said that so many times to myself. Well, here's a fucking big shock. That second cost is false. If I buy a car and I spend 5 or 10 years on this car, I replaced all the parts on this fucking car. I know this car is great. It'll always start up, but sometimes I might have to replace the battery. And I know it's this good, solid car for 10 years that I think like buying a new car would be a bad idea. That's called sunken cost. That's the definition of a second cost. It's the same with this relationship. You think there's so much good in this person. You invested so much time and energy on this person that you think it would be correct to just stay with this person. In that 5 years, there will never be a time when you can look back and realize, what did you do for yourself? Because I can never look back at my previous relationship that I was with this one girl for years, 10 years of my life. I can never look back and realize, what the fuck did I do for myself? It was always her, second cost, build things for us, and us. And I always thought it was for us. Little did I know that she was draining. So that's why I understand that it's easier said than done. And I know it's difficult, and I wish you listened to Q and my sisters on their advices too, because reaching out to other people will be easier for you to move forward in your life, because it's not an easy task to deal with all that stuff alone. I hope that answers your question.